How do you see the playoffs unfolding? Who wins the two semifinals? And who takes home the 2023 Kazoo Premier League title?
Just before I get to that, at a side note, we have mentioned that we have got Rod Studd coming on the show a bit later. And last week on our picks for the finals, the final league night of the season, I did go 3 out of 4. So some might say coming into the playoffs, there is a bit of momentum behind me. But all jokes aside, like I said a second ago, this is so tough to predict. And we put this out as our question of the week for our listeners on Twitter. We've had over 400 votes so far. Do go and vote on the poll. It's still open as the time of recording. And at the moment, a lot of our listeners are pretty confident. They think it's going to be Gerwyn Price. 56% of them going with the Iceman, who finished top of the table. 22% going with Michael Smith. 12% going with Michael van Gerwen, and 10% going with Clayton. And a couple of our listeners tweeting in as well. Boris saying probably Price, hoping for a Smith win though. And Jed128 saying Clayton with a 1-2-1. So he's even given us a finish on how he does it as well. And more on Johnny Clayton's finishing a bit later. But looking at the odds, Gerwyn Price does go in as the favourite with the bookmakers. He's 6-4 in some places. Then you've got Michael Smith at 5-2. Then you've got the 6-time champion Michael van Gerwen at 11-4. And that price has been stretched out, you'd probably say, as a result of last week's Premier League night in Aberdeen. Van Gerwen won his first game, but visibly was in some discomfort, pulled out of his semi-final with Dimitri Van den Berg, who went on to win the night, beating Gerwyn Price in the final. But MVG withdrawing with that arm injury. We did see him go on and play in the Pro Tours on Saturday and Sunday, which tells me he is going to be okay. He is going to be fit to play on Thursday, but there obviously is that concern. What if that injury comes and happens again? Because it did kind of come out of nowhere. He was playing so well in that game with Chris Dobie before the injury flared up. And then lastly, you have got Johnny Clayton in there as a 7-1 outsider. And I think for me, these finals nights, they can be unpredictable. And even though these players have been playing each other for the best part of the last 4 months, form can go out the window. We have seen players finish 3rd or 4th and go on and win the finals night, Johnny Clayton being the most recent of those in 2021. So I'm going to go against the table here. I'm going to go against the majority of our listeners. I'm going to say that Johnny Clayton beats Gerwyn Price in that first semi-final. Then Michael Smith, who finished second ahead of Michael van Gerwen. I couldn't tell you what the difference was. It certainly wasn't points or goal differential. And so I'm going to go with Michael Smith to beat Michael van Gerwen. So we've got a Clayton-Smith final. And I'm going to go with Michael Smith. I think he gets it done. I'm going to go 11-7 to the world number one, and he's going to hold that title as well as the World Championship, the Grand Slam, and now the Premier League all at the same time. Michael Smith is going to be my winner on finals night.
Ooh. Now, before I make my pick, do you think I agree?
I know how much of a Michael Smith fan you are, so I'm going to say yes.
All right. Well, we'll see whether I agree, because if I do agree, then obviously we're both going to be wrong. So that would mean you were wrong in your picks. And if we don't agree, then you were wrong in thinking that we agree. So no matter what, you're wrong. Well, you're wrong because I'm actually going differently, at least in one of the matches, because I think the top seed will win. I think Gezi is just playing too well. Yes, Clayton comes in with the momentum. He won a Players' Championship at the weekend. He's been improving consistently as the year went on. At the beginning of the Premier League season, we were talking, has he regressed? Is it this the year that we start to see him drop off a bit? And it looked for a little while that might have been the case, but he certainly has grown into the season, most encapsulated by winning that Players' Championship title this past weekend. And he comes in playing well, but Gerwyn Price is the best player in the world. He is confident. He is playing brilliantly. And I just don't see even an informed Johnny Clayton being able to beat him on this particular night with all this at stake. Do I agree, though, that Michael Smith will make the final? I'm going to have to, because there's just too many question marks with Michael van Gerwen health-wise right now. Pulled out of the semifinal last week. Didn't play he pulled out of the semifinal in the Premier League, and we don't know where his game is fully at physically entering this. And Michael Smith has been, he won 3 consecutive Premier League nights and beaten Van Gerwen along the way there. I just think he's playing that little bit better right now. And, well, I mean, he only beat him the last time they met in a very meaningful match in the World Final. I think Michael Smith gets the better of him, but I am not going to pick Michael Smith to win the title. This is Gerwyn Price's year in the Premier League. Michael Smith's time will come. We've said that many times, and in some ways it has come. He's won the Grand Slam. He's won the World Championship. He is world number one, but he will not be Premier League champion. Not this year, at least. It's Gerwyn Price's turn.